Hey, my name's Brenda, if we've never met before, and today I'm going to show you a different version of the butterfly stitch with pearls in between the cables. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, for this blanket, I am going to be using 4 skeins of the Bernat Blanket Big from Michaels. And I'm gonna, you'll want your scissors close by, and we're gonna cast on 26 for this blanket. You do your loop, pull your working yarn through, cinch it tight with your tail. The baby size blankets, I do a little bit smaller stitches. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. All right, so for this, we're gonna flip it over and pull our working yarn through the middle of the back. This is a fairly easy pattern to do. It's a little bit easier than the actual butterfly stitch blanket because you're doing less of the butterfly stitch with purls stitches to separate the butterfly cables. This pattern does require a little more yarn, so if you're going to make a bigger size, I suggest getting a couple extra skeins than you would normally use. The color that I'm using right now, I believe this is chalk pink. It's one of my favorite pink colors from Bernat. All right, now let's count our stitches just to make sure and double check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. Great. So I am going to knit the borders of this blanket. I don't always do that, but for this one I am going to. So I'm going to knit, and then for the butterfly stitch, there will always be 4 stitches in a row, and what you're going to do is section 2 and 2. So you'll take the second of the 4 knit stitches, and you will cross that under the second stitch and knit it and cross it over that stitch. And we are now going to do the same thing. So we take this stitch, we skip that's now the 4th stitch, and we skip that, cross it over and knit it, and then knit behind. And that's the butterfly that'll be the butterfly cable. Then we are going to purl one. We'll do another butterfly cable. So always do, we got 4 here. Always knit the second one under the first one, and then the first one over the second. And then this one is just the opposite. So you go the 4th one over the 3rd, and then knit the 3rd. And then do a purl stitch, which is over the front. Here we go with another butterfly. The second one goes under the first of the 4 stitches, and the 4th one goes over the 3rd, and then you knit the 3rd. Okay, so it may look a little funny at first, but once you start getting the pattern going, you'll see. So we did another purl. Now we're gonna do our 4 butterfly stitch. So again, you take the second one, knit it under the first, and then the first one over the second. Again, the 4th over the 3rd, and then the 3rd under the 4th. Do a purl stitch and one more butterfly stitch of these 4. Second one under, first over, and then we're gonna do the 4th over the 3rd and knit the 3rd, and then your knit border. Okay, this is a 2-row pattern. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna skip that border stitch, and we are going to purl the purls and just knit the butterfly stitch. Oh. That one is a knit butterfly stitch. So we're knitting those. As you're moving to the left, you're just doing the knits and purls. No crossover, no cross under. So 4 knit, 1 purl. 4 knit, 1 purl. Those purls like to hide out, so don't forget those. 4 knit, and a purl, and 4 knit, and a purl, and 4 more knits. And then the knit border. All right. Now we're gonna go ahead and repeat what we did on the first row. See, it's starting to lay flat a little bit. And we're going to just leave the edge stitch. We are always going to purl the purls. And here we are back with the butterfly stitch. So that one goes under, number 1 goes over, and I'm used to purling there, so let's try that again. This one goes under the second one, over the first, and then we have the 4th that goes over the 3rd. Then you knit the 3rd, purl, and then we do this again. way, this way, and then the fourth over the third, and knit the third. Purl. I like to have my purl stitches a little smaller, so they're not loose. Okay, you have the 4, knit the second one under and the first one over. Fourth one over the third, and then you knit the third. Then we do a purl stitch. Now we're back to the 4 stitches. Second one first under the first, first over the second, fourth over the third, and knit the third last. And purl, and we're gonna do that one more time. Second of the 4 under and knit it, first over and knit it, fourth over the third, knit it, and third stitch of the 4 behind and knit it. And then we're gonna knit the border. Okay, so now we're just gonna go back across and do knit 4, purl, knit 4, and purl. Knit 4, purl, knit 4, and purl. Too big. Knit 4, and then knit the border. Okay, and that's all there is to the pattern. I'll do it another time so you can just know that you have it for sure. So I'm leaving that border stitch, and I'm gonna knit this one underneath the first and knit it. First over the second and knit it. Third, fourth over the third and knit it, and knit the third. Now you can start to see the pattern. Purl, and then here we go again. Knit the second one, knit the first over, fourth over the third, knit it, third, knit, purl, then second one under the first, cross the first one over the second and knit it, the fourth one over the third and knit it, and knit the third. And it's always going to be easiest knitting to your left, because you will do no crossovers. Purl, and fourth over the third, knit it, knit the third, and knit the border. So let's go ahead and measure where we're at right now, just to give you a I always have a measuring tape nearby when I'm knitting my blankets, so I can see that it's about the size I want for a baby blanket. And this one is about 29 inches. It may grow another inch as I continue to knit it. So what I'm gonna do is knit it up to 36 inches because I usually make my baby blankets about 30 by 36. So now I'm just gonna go ahead knitting to the left, knit the butterfly stitches and purl the purls. You can always see the purls because they are the ones on top. So they always get purled. Knit 4. The tricky part about this blanket is not skipping any stitches. The first time I did it, I did the butterfly blanket and I missed a stitch and I had to pull it all out, and I know how frustrating that is. So be sure that, and if you're not sure and you're a beginner to the butterfly stitch pattern, I recommend counting at the end of each row to make sure you still have the right amount of stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. All right, so this is the pattern that it's gonna be, and I will go ahead and do my knitting up until about 34 inches, and I'll come back to finish the blanket and cast off. All right, so I've gone ahead and knit up to 34 inches, and I'm going to knit one more row. So I'm gonna knit this edge stitch and then knit the 4, and then purl, knit 4, purl, knit 4, purl, knit 4, and then purl, knit the 4, and knit the edge stitch. Now we're going to go ahead and cast off, and wanted to let you know that if you wanted to make a medium to large size throw in this style, I would double your purl stitches and add another butterfly cable. So your cast on would be 42 to do a larger throw. Okay, so we are going to take 2 of the loops, pull your yarn through to 1, and you just keep grabbing the next stitch, pull your yarn through, and keep continuing to do that. Keep the 2 on your finger, pull the yarn through, don't miss any of the stitches. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and creating another cozy soft creation. Any chunky chenille yarn can work for this. I did end up using 3, not 4, of the Bernat Blanket Big, and I will link below the items that I used in the video, and stay tuned for my next pattern that should be coming out in a few days. All right, here is our last, and I'm going to cut this off a few rows or a few inches left, and I'm going to cinch it tight and tie a knot, and then trim off the excess. Then what I do is I tuck it in and I sew it together with needle and thread, and so here is the finished blanket in your butterfly cable baby blanket. Thanks for joining me. Happy knitting.